Hey there!
I'm Sunny.
I'm Skylar.
And together,
we're Crushcast, aka the Vixens of Crush Publications.
Join us today for another fun time with Crush.
Hi there! Best-selling authors Skylar Quinn and Sunny A. Morgan coming together today to discuss the joys of erotica and literature. Today's topic is Hotwife and Cuckold.
And today's sponsor is Sean Geist, and he is an erotic author who specializes in cuckold and hotwife. I've read a few of his stories, and he's extremely talented. But recently I read A Cuckold's Gift. Yeah, you have the cover. I read A Cuckold's Gift, and it's a great story. It is a married couple, Glenn and Trisha, who start to explore a new sexual kink and one they've never considered before. So it's really good. It's a hot story. So you should check it out. It's available anywhere that you can buy ebooks, and then he also has it available in a print form.
It was his first print book, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into what our new books are this week.
Yeah, it is. Well, I would have came out. Already came out a throuple for Santa. And that is part of our Merry Kinkmas series. And then coming up, I have Snow for Christmas coming out as well.
I love those titles.
Yeah.
So last Friday, I had my Interns Book 3, The Break Room. And that intern series is like, people are enjoying it more than I thought they would. So that was a pleasant surprise.
That's fun.
And then this Friday, I have one of my Merry Kinkmasses, An Elf for Santa, which I actually really enjoyed writing. A lot more than I thought I would. A little age gap, a little cheating, a lot of cheating. But it was good.
It's great. That's good.
Yeah. I love our Merry Kinkmasses.
I love that too. And yeah, as our next episode will be all about it. So
I know.
I can't wait for that. But yeah, I'm excited about our new series. And I'm kind of excited about today's why I'm excited about today's topic, because this is a new genre for me. I've done cheating before.
And that excites me. You're
I've done
on
cheating.
To the fun side.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the cheating. I've never really done cuckold or hotwife before, and I recently did start. And it's a lot of people really liked it. I was like, so
it is
surprised.
A wonderful genre.
It is, and so I was pleasantly surprised. I think mine's a little different than everybody else's.
And I think that's part of your appeal with your readers crossing over into it.
Yeah. Because I had to, it still had to have my little twist on the cuckold situation. So it is, but I do really enjoy it. There is, in the series that I'm doing, My Husband's Best Friend, there will be 5. And the last one is quite the surprise. So I'm excited about it when it comes out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise for everybody.
Well, so I have to think. I have 12 Hotwife adventure books planned, as I think my last one will come out in April, maybe, if I remember right. So they're great. I love the Hotwife. The cuckold's a little harder for me. So when I do the cuckold part, it's always with Sean. And where you and him kind of remind me of each other a little bit is on your cuckold, you kind of pushed the boundaries, made it your own. And Sean does that too in the stuff that we write together. That he likes, and he told me he likes to flirt with those lines. And so you kind of both are a little similar in that. But I haven't tried the cuckold, but I have a Cuck Queen series in Kindle Unlimited. That's not doing too shabby. It is harder for me to write those though. And it is harder. But the Hotwife, that one just seems like fun. That's less dramatic for me.
Yeah.
Less emotional turmoil for me in those.
Right, because it's the humiliation part that's hard for me.
That's the hard
And
part.
yeah, and I get like that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's your kink, that's your king. It's great, and people
Exactly.
who write that, it's amazing. But it's harder for me to write, so that's why I
Me
did
too.
my little twist with my husband. He had to be an asshole, so that I could do that. Uh, so it worked out well. But as you do it, I can see where like I think it'll become easier for me to do
Yeah.
more traditional. So we'll see.
Well, and I
Um,
think when you get the feedback from the readers that they're enjoying what you're doing, it helps you feel a little more at ease because some things are hit and miss, right?
right.
And when you're starting out new, you don't know how your current reader base is going to accept it. And so I think yours accepting it has been great for you in that.
Yeah, and they have, and it's really. I mean, I always do a lot of like asshole boss, dubious consent. So this is kind of a mixture of that a little bit. Um, and so I feel like that is where I was able to transition. And so I should, and hopefully I can transition into more traditional hot wife
I think you
cuckold
can.
kind of themes. And my readers follow me. But so we'll see.
I have a big hot wife project coming up, and it's with the Ake group, and we're all doing this hot wife cruise. And I'm
Mhm.
really excited about it. There's 7 or 8 authors, and we all have a shared cruise, a shared timeline, shared characters, and our couple will intermingle with the different ones. And so when you read that whole series, you'll have these little Easter eggs that people are carrying on throughout. And I think we're slated to come out in January. So I'm really excited. And that one, I think, is a real culmination of some of the best in the genre coming together. So just to be a part of it, like, is really
Oh
flattering
yeah.
for me. And I'm so excited to see how the readers take on those shared stories. Because, I mean, being in the series was really great for my Halloween one. So I'm hoping being in the shared world will make it even better. And then hopefully some of those readers will carry on to our projects next year in our
Right.
shared world. So I
Yeah.
love how we can kind of intertwine all of the different things that we're doing to kind of circle back to where our goals are and where we're looking forward to doing different projects.
Right.
And
Yeah. It is
whew,
exciting.
it is.
Um,
And, Sean sponsoring today is really appropriate because I definitely would not be in this field if it wasn't for Sean asking
right.
me to write with him. And he really helped teach me about the hot wife rules and what they want to see, what they don't want to see. And he was a really good mentor in that. And his fan base is very loyal. And so I
Right.
think it's great that he sponsored today's, since I definitely would not have the following I have for Hot Wife if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys have written a lot together. I know he does a lot on his own, but he collabs with different people.
Yeah,
So he's very
diversified in that
divided.
sense.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So,
But and you got to think the people who are reading these different genres, all these different authors. I mean, there's just so many of them, and they read all these different types of stories, and you have to think eventually some of these stories start to sound the same, but the ones I've read, we all still manage to find our own little way to make the most common storyline seem different.
yeah.
And I think it's kind of crazy how creative we can all be on something so different and so
Right.
similar at the same time.
Yeah. I had a reader tell me recently that they felt like the story felt real, and that's why they liked reading it. That it was more realistic of something they felt could happen.
Yeah,
So maybe that's why it is so popular, because
I hadn't
it
thought about
is.
that.
I hadn't either until he said it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, that he just felt like it was really it was a real story being told, and
I
maybe
mean, I
that.
can kind of see that though.
Yeah,
Because when you think about our cheater age gap, I mean, those stories that I write for those are so ridiculous. Or my
yeah,
interns. There is no company getting summer intern or internship summer where they're going to go fuck in a break room. That's not a
Yeah.
real thing. That's never happening, right? But these Hotwife ones,
Well, I
I
don't know if
mean,
it's never happening,
well,
but it's not happening on a regular
well,
basis.
it's not
Yeah.
happening where everybody knows about it in the office and these interns are applying just to get part of intern summer, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's very far-fetched, because you
Yeah.
got to get to the sex quick in those, right? But
Yeah.
this, like, it has real story, it has emotion, and then it has, like, the entanglement of what happens when you start getting emotion for the bull or whatever. And, like, I don't think I could have a relationship like that and not have emotion.
Yeah. Where it's just the sex. Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, there are people who do that. I mean, there are bulls who are, that's like specifically what they are, and husband and wives know that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it does happen. And I think that would be more of the case if it's somebody that you don't specifically know. But like when it's somebody you know that you're bringing in as the bull, it might be a little harder. It's just like bringing in a third person, like
Right.
in any kind of like relationship, and that other person, you know them, like bringing in my best friend to be with me and my boyfriend or husband or whoever, like it might get a little weird.
I just don't see how I could not get emotionally attached. And that's where I really struggle sometimes on writing these is I have to separate like what I think my emotion would be as me, the real person, versus what these characters who are not me are feeling. And sometimes I do find that struggle.
Yeah. I mean, I find that struggle too, and I think that's why it was hard for me to write it at first.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to like make this person this jerk so I could do it.
So you could add that humiliation part.
Yeah, so it would be okay. Because it's just not my like personality. And I mean, some people, they like that, and that's great, but it just, I could not personally do it. And
so back in October of last year, Sean was telling me I kind of have a knack for the cuckold. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you're so far off. He's like, well, you do like the humiliation. I was like, no, I don't. He's like, you tease me all the time about the Raiders. I'm like, that's not part of it. He's like, it is. Like that, all those little things are all part of it. And so when he kind of told me about that, I'm like, well, that's more like teasing, flirty. Like I could do that. I can't do like, your dick is so small. I can't be mean. And I feel like that's mean. Whereas, and so that had helped me kind of incorporate some of it into the writings that he and I do together. And I kind of find myself like adding those little flavors in the stuff that's not with Sean now, because that's what the readers like, right? And so made it a little easier once he kind of reframed my thought process of what I'm already doing,
Right. And I mean, I feel like we do that, and it's kind of just like this friendly, joking, flirty that we do with our friends. And I mean, we kind of like teasing, we kind of do that with female, male. It doesn't, I mean, you just
we do, yeah.
And so you don't really think of it that way.
I never would have
at all, but I can kind of see where, like, yeah, it does make sense in a sort of, because in some ways you do kind of, I mean, not you, like, and I'm just saying like, in general,
in general, you,
yeah, kind of can humiliate your friends or whoever, like just with like the teasing aspect of it, and not really think about it that way. I don't know. So.
Yeah, and especially when like he was giving me like the football example, because the Raiders and the Chiefs are longtime like enemies, right? And that was a very easy banter for he and I to do. And then he's just like, "This is exactly what you have to do, just writing about sex." So it was a good. That's why he was a really good mentor in that. Like he really helped shape the tools in my belt for how to write it all with everyday stuff that I didn't even realize applied. And I think that's where I really like erotica. Kind of like how in paranormal we can do what we want. In erotica we can kind of do that too, because we can pull these everyday things and into our stories. And I think that's why they're kind of believable, like your reader said. Like I could see that happening, because I think we're really good about doing that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's why I like writing it too, is because it can be somewhat believable, but it also has this whole fantasy aspect of it too. So I like the both. I like having like the realistic and the fantasy combined. So, and trying to get that to work together is kind of like this neat little challenge.
Yes. Well, the first, I think it's the first or second, I can't remember, the first or second one that I wrote was a couple on a Hotwife cruise. And so I was Googling these cruises. And at first I did it as a joke. I didn't know they were real, but they are real, like these cool
Yeah.
things. And they have these different rooms for different types of experimentation. They have, people on board to help you and all these different things. And so I wrote this story using a lot of Google images of these different cruise ships and all these different things. And this one guy, messaged me. He's like, "This was exactly like the cruise my wife and I went on a couple years ago. Like, you did a really good job." I was like, "Huh." Like
That's
the
really
fact
cool.
that this really happens in life is kind of crazy and freeing. And I don't know. Like, again, I don't think I could ever share because I'm a very jealous person in real life. But I think the fact that this is out there for people is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
like kind of shows, a little bit more of an evolution, I think, in some ways that are more freeing of
Yeah.
people.
But
I don't know,
you're
I
not
think
the one sharing.
It doesn't matter. I'm a very territorial person, and if I saw somebody touching somebody, I would, like my husband, I would kill a bitch.
But in these situations when it's cuckold and Hotwife, you're the person being shared.
Well, so in Hotwife, though, I mean, what's the guy? A hotwife doesn't mean the guy's a cuckold, though, and this is where I get like into it. Like, what's the guy doing? Why his wife is off being shared? Like, the guy has something going on too, right?
Not always. I mean, sometimes just get off on hearing about it. They don't necessarily want to be there.
Well, sometimes a guy wants to do something, and so I could not take that chance. I would cut a bitch.
Oh,
I'm a very jealous person.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a very jealous person.
I don't know. I don't
mean,
I don't think I could, but I don't know. It's never been like a situation that I've like somebody's wanted, so I don't know.
I think I would have a cow.
But I think as I get older, I think I'm more open, so I'm just like, that's why I'm saying I don't know. I think before I probably would have said no.
I mean, I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I am not evolved enough yet to be there.
Yeah.
You're more evolved than me.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe we should all go on a cruise and see how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
like, we'll see, I couldn't be doing that like with no. No.
No, I didn't mean together. That's not what I meant.
No. But see, like, I don't think I could do that and even like see you doing, like, not us being together, but see like you like flirting with another man, doing whatever I like, or multiple. I think it would be weird. I couldn't do it.
I think it would be weird too. I mean, it's kind of like in part of my head, it's like, well, if we were both there, like we both know what would be going on, like it'd be cool. Kind of like if you see someone at a sex shop, they're there too, so they can't judge you. But I still feel like it's judging. Like,
well, I would not judge. No, I wouldn't be judgy.
I feel like I would be like,
I would just
what is wrong with this person? I don't know.
Well, no, because I would not judge. Then I would be like, I can't do what I want to do.
That's kind of judging. Like,
well, because I would feel like they're judging. I wouldn't. I would just be more self-conscious about.
Okay, maybe like, self-conscious is a better word. I don't know. I just
like that. Like, now they just ruined my vacation. She's here.
So I had a coworker back in 2008. She came over to the house one time, and she said she was joking, but she did not look like she was joking. And she's like, "Let's have a threesome." I was like, "I don't know." And oh boy, he's just like, "Well, she's cute." But I was just like, that's when I knew, like, I could not. I would cut a bitch, even if they're like one of my best friends.
Did that?
I mean, it's a very close friend of mine who did it. Coworker. I just won't say her name, but
yeah,
like, I mean, you would know it if I told you. But I mean, I'm friends with her still. Like, it's cool, but I could not share.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. So I guess I still feel that emotion I had in 2008. I remember that moment so well. Like, I know today I would still feel the same way.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know.
But maybe it's because it was someone I knew. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to go on like one of the cruises where you could just be like open and chill and whatever, but maybe not have to share people. Like other people could do
So
their
just
thing.
like a sex cruise, like a
Maybe. Yeah, like you could have fun in these different rooms, but it could just be the two of you.
yeah, like a sex fantasy cruise. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
I
fun.
think that would be better.
Yeah. So if people wanted to, whatever they could. Yeah.
And I would totally be cool with the cruise. I could walk around without having to wear a bra. Like I would probably still wear a shirt, but I hate wearing a bra. I go on a vacation and not have to wear. The best thing about camping is I can wear a sweater in the winter and I don't have to wear a bra.
That's so funny. No, I get it too. I hate wearing one too. I don't
mean,
understand where people think that shit's comfortable. It's not.
it's not at all.
No,
So if we
it's
could get
not.
on a vacation like that where we're bra free, I'd be on board with that. I'd sign up for that. But
Okay.
you know, I don't know. That was a digression.
I mean, technically you could do it anyways, but
I mean, you can't. You got like standards that you have to meet because you have big boobs. You have to wear them if they get in the way. It's annoying. Like this shirt is so thin, I'd have to wear one with this shirt.
oh, yeah.
I mean, I got a 22-year-old walk around the house. I have to wear one.
Well, I mean, I get like at your house because it would just be weird.
Again, I have a 22-year-old walking around.
Yeah, but it is your son. I mean,
Okay, that's my argument too, but I'm still told I have to wear one.
that's your husband.
I just want a vacation where I can be bra free.
Yeah.
So if it's a Hotwife cruise that gets that, I would attend for that.
Yeah.
But you know, so in this group, they were talking about how someone had went on another cruise and they had like an auction where hotwives were auctioning or buying bulls to join them and just like all these different things. And so I don't know if we're going to incorporate that or not into our Hotwife cruise. Like, how cool is that? Like,
That is kind of cool. I like
to
the
be
whole
that
aspect.
free and open and just be like, I want him, buy him for me. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
But I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Learning so much. And I don't know. I think it's awesome. And I'm glad to be a part of that kind of community.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are really supportive of each other. It's great.
Well, and the other thing with like the Hotwife Cuckold is you don't have to just stick to like that part of it. You can still add other aspects of erotica. You could add like a BDSM. You could have all this other stuff as the breeding. You have the breeding kind of like, I don't know. I think that is a very hot niche too, but that's all part of, you know, the bowls and all these different things. And I just love how versatile it is. And you don't have to write like the same cookie cutter format. Because like with my cheating stories, they're very cookie cutter, right? A plus B equals C. And the Hotwife, you can pull from every aspect and have multiple stuff go into it. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And so I also really enjoy, like, Sean, you know, kind of taught me how to start as a cheater and end up Hotwife with the female cheating part of it. And so it's that blend where it just gives you all these different options to spread your wings and just make wonderful words.
It does. It does. It's a lot of, there's a lot of creativity and a lot of ways that, because you do free use, you can do like, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do
so much
with it. Yeah.
Well, and then like, you know, you can have like these different communities too, where you just like trade, you know, you could even have like wife swaps. And I mean, that's what I think is the beautiful part about it is where it's like, I feel like if you're writing like a BDSM book or you're writing like some of these, like you kind of just got to stick to what that plan is. You can't pull from all these other different ones. Whereas Hotwife and Cuckold, you really can, you know?
Yeah, you can.
I like that. And that helps kind of make it a little different each time. And so I don't feel bored writing them.
Right. Yeah.
You know, whereas like I think there's some monotony in the cookie cutter formula as well, as much as you like them and the readers like them. there's no challenge. I feel like this gives us a way to challenge each
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, it does. I get that completely. Because even with like the one that I'm doing, like it is in each one there's a different, like there's a free use one. There is the straight up cuckold, and then there's just the guy and her, and there's no husband around. Um but it's all because it's more of a dubious consent kind of thing. So but
You write those very well too.
yeah, I mean there's consent, but it's it's not really. Yeah, I mean, it's more of she's kind of got to do it because she's paying off her husband's stuff. So,
Consent's consent.
yeah. So, um, but yeah, I'm able to use like different aspects in each one. And there's the breeding aspect in it. Kind of forced breeding, but whatever.
I do wonder how much of the breeding aspect is transferred into real life. Where like I could see, because I have some friends that do the swinger lifestyle, and I see them like sharing and all these different things. So I know that can easily transfer into the real life. But I wonder how the breeding kink does, because I would have to think that'd be hard.
I think that would be really hard. Like there would have to. I mean, I feel like that would be really hard,
especially as someone who's about the kids. Like, I mean, it's different,
well, yeah, because I can't see like. I think that would be hard for the husband and the wife. And even the bull. I think it would be hard all around. I mean, unless the bull just does this and doesn't really care that he's impregnating all these women. I mean, but I mean, I would think that it would be kind of hard for all of them. But I don't know. Maybe it doesn't translate into real life. Or we don't know enough. Maybe we
I'd just be really curious.
Yeah, maybe
well, if you're listening to this and you're into it in real life, you should contact us.
Yes,
we could talk to you.
We are really curious how you guys navigate that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to think like if you knew your child was out there, like wouldn't you have questions? Or is it no different than just like donating your sperm and moving on? I don't know.
And maybe, I mean, and maybe that's how they think about it.
Maybe, but. I don't know. I think if I was a bull, I'd have to be shooting blanks and just tell them it's a breeding thing because I would be like too worried. I have like hundreds of little Skylars out there running around.
Yeah, or I would be wanting to have like we have to sign a disclosure because I cannot afford all these kids.
I can't do child support.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to sign off.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so curious how that translates into the real life aspect of it.
I am too. I never really thought about it. Like, I
think about it every time I write it.
Well, I mean, I've not thought about it like legal wise.
Yeah.
Or like, but I've thought about like it being hard for like the husband. But I mean, really, it's hard for all of them. It could be hard for.
I would have to think it would be. I'd have to think it would be.
Yeah. I mean, I know in mine, it's just. I mean, it's hard. Just because he's not really giving a shit. Like he wants this, and it's the bull that wants it, not the husband. So,
well, and like I think about like our fun story we wrote with like the Logan and like in his end, like I'm shooting blanks or whatever, and it made me think like when we were writing that, like I would have if I was the guy, I would have to be shooting blanks to be able to do this. Because but I'm a girl and I get attached, right? So maybe that's just like a girl mentality. Maybe guys are different. Maybe they could. I don't know.
I guess it just depends on why they're doing it.
Or maybe like if the husband is shooting blanks and can't have kids, and this is the only way like his wife could have a kid, maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean I get that,
and that would make sense.
Like, yeah, I get that.
Well, then, like, and think about, like, if you have, like, because there are these communities, right? Like, I have a reader that lives on a community, right? And they share. So what if you're, like, the bull of the town, and you're doing all this breeding, and, like, all these people have kids? Like, what if they're dating their, like, siblings? If they're all, like, growing up together? Like, wouldn't that be... I don't know. My head goes into places.
Yeah, I would think that, too. But I would think, like, them knowing, like, how they're growing up in this community, that they would probably
So
hopefully
good.
know that this community is off limits for
You
dating
would,
your
you would
children.
hope.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I go
mean,
down rabbit holes when I think of these things, and
yeah, yeah, no, that's yeah. I would hope like there would be a stop.
there would have
Like,
to be.
yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure the parents are like, no.
There would have to be. So
There's a
I don't know.
possibility that that's your stepbrother. You cannot know.
Right? Exactly. So I don't know.
Or half brother. Thanks, stepbrother, half
It'd be
brother.
half brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just or sister, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or potential cousin, because like you never know where.
Right. So yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
in this community, I hope themes some rules. Where
I
that
know
all
it has
comes
to be.
together. Like, yeah. And that the bull has limits. Like he's just
Have
not
to
like
be
trying
limits.
to like purposely impregnate everybody that he's
Like I
having
said,
sex
so
with.
if you're listening
There
to
would
this
have to
and,
be.
and you are part of this, you have to contact us so we can ask questions.
Yeah, because we want to know so we can write it better. And just
that's
to
like
feel
the
like
whole
our
thing.
curiosity. Yeah.
But it's like that writing. Like, I want to know what I do right or what I do wrong so I can write it more accurately. And I do think, like, you and I have always really cared about, even if it's made up, that it's still believable. And I think that drives why our stuff is more believable, because we do want it to be accurate. At least
Right.
as accurate as we can make it, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do definitely try that.
yeah.
That's why we draw sketches and things to make sure all the body
I
parts are fitting
wish
together
I
correctly.
had that picture of the sketch I drew and I sent you. Like, you think you can do this?
Yeah,
Like, on the couch. I don't know what I did with that sketch. I wish I still had it.
yeah.
I'm sure it's in our text thread somewhere.
I'm sure it's
from,
there somewhere.
from like
Yeah,
a year ago.
yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, you can do it, but
like, do you think it would work? Do you think it'd be comfortable? And that's the problem.
not
with
comfortable.
multiple
It's
people.
not always comfortable, though.
No, no.
I mean, because I'm thinking about a lot of the stuff that I write. It's not comfortable. I don't know who's thinking this is comfortable.
No. I don't know. But I do like the aspect about like the Hotwife Cuckold, that there's that third person, but that third person isn't part of it. And so I'm not having to make all these pieces fit together. It's still just two
Yeah.
people. I do
Yeah.
prefer that. That is much easier to write.
Well, I mean, I don't mind my group. I do a lot of group.
You are really good at the group.
I do a lot of group, and I like doing those. But it is. I mean, I do have to go back and be like, okay, where's her hands? Where's his stuff? Where's this? Like, are they all? Because sometimes, when it's three people, it's a little easier when it's three men
Right.
with one girl. But sometimes I have like that
Three
fourth
total is
and
my
fifth,
limit. Once we
and
get to
like
that fourth,
then it's
too
like
much.
because then sometimes I'm like, somebody's gonna have to go sit on the sofa for a minute because it's just like it's too much. Like the girl, she can't take it. It's too much. And like lots of times I have them as young girl, like they're not young girls. They're like
Younger.
20. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like 20,
College,
21,
co-eds.
college age. Yeah. And so they're not that experienced, and so this is like a lot for them. So I'm trying to I try to think about how she can handle it and how she can't, and which like afterwards she's just going to be a mess and somebody's going to take care of her afterwards. Because she's not going to be able to move. But yeah,
Yeah.
the things that go into writing erotica.
Well,
That we have to do.
I just think about, like, I did, I guess, write a true cuckold one when I wrote my vampire one that, I can't think of the name of it. What does that mean? It is Vampire Took My Wife, a cuckold's dream. And the cuck was like the servant of the vampire, and vampires are assholes. And
Yeah.
he made him like sit in the corner and watch, and he destroyed the wife, and then he made him clean her up and take care of her, and that was easier to write because because it was
paranormal.
I can do it was paranormal. I can do vampires. That did make it easier, and I did really enjoy that one because that wasn't a stretch for me. Like, I'm like, they're all jerks anyways, over egotistical, all these other things. Like, they can be a douche and be fine. So
Right.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm excited for it to come out next Halloween, but no, I like that one. So I guess I do have like a true cuckold story.
Yeah.
I don't know, but see, so that goes back into like you can mix and match, like what goes
Genres
into
and the
it.
niches. Yeah, the different niches. Yeah. And that's what's fun about it. And so, because
And I
I
don't think we
before,
could do that if we were doing paranormal romance. We couldn't.
oh,
We
no.
couldn't break the mold on those. You know, we'd
No.
have to stick with that PNR. So
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have been able to at all. Even though I'm sure some of my characters would have liked me to be able to do that for them.
I'm sure.
So,
So it's kind of like erotica really is very free in a lot of ways.
it is.
In a lot of ways.
And I think that's why I like it. Like, I like paranormal because it's freeing, because you can just like make these things happen. And like, I mean, there's a reason why they're able to make them happen, but you know, you can get a little crazy with stuff and it's fine because
it's
they're
acceptable.
because they have powers. They're supernatural people. They can do this stuff. So I think that's why I like writing paranormal, but I also like, it's the same with like erotica. Like, you can, like, there doesn't have to be this drawn out love romance kind of thing for people to have good sex.
Exactly.
And they can do whatever they want to do. And it's fine because it's erotica. And
you don't have to worry about all the prep that you'd have to do in real life, and you can just jump into the fantasy. You don't have to worry, and you can get that wrong in a sense. Like, you don't have to do all that verbatim and it still be acceptable. Whatever.
Right. And yeah, because I mean, you can have where these people are having, like, they're not having safe sex. That's not smart. I mean, people do not have safe sex in real life, people. Just, like, don't do that.
Houston is rising on the age right now. Like, do not wear a condom.
Do not do. These are stories. But this is like what, like, because, you know, people do fantasize about being able to just like not have to wear anything, be, you know, free in that sense. And so, yeah, you want that. But no, would I encourage people to do that in real life? No. No. God, no. Do not do that. Not with somebody you don't know.
Right.
So,
even with the person you know, I wouldn't do it. Like, it depends.
Not unless you're ready for the consequences of that action. Yeah.
But
no.
But I do like that we get to do these things that are very similar to what we did in our past writing lives this way. And I don't know, I like how we're melting all the worlds together, and it makes it really just enjoying to do our job.
It does. It makes it exciting. And I love being excited about what I write and like coming up with new ideas and, you know, having different worlds, but not having all of the different world. Like, not having to create a whole
charts of where everybody goes and who they came from, and like, hold on, I gotta check to see what pantheon they came from. Yeah,
right. So I mean, while I love that, it is draining, and I can't do that. But with this, I mean, we can create worlds. Like, we're creating a new world with Hemlock Valley, and it is easier because each story is just, you know, they're standalone.
One and done.
Right. And it's a standalone story, but it's just in this whole little world of this town. So I like being able to create that world, create the little characters that are here and there, the little shops and things, but not have to worry about all the other stuff.
Exactly. And then, like, so Leonora asked me yesterday, she's like, how do you get your ideas? And I'm like, I just sit down and write. Because this world of writing, I don't feel like, I mean, while I do plan out, I don't feel like I have to plan out like each book, right? Like, I have like which series I want to write, but it's like Filthy Friday 5, you know, Temptation 1, or whatever it is. It's not like titles with characters. So in this world, passing on Leonora's questions, how do you get inspired with each story, or do you just sit down and write?
I sit down and write. I force myself to write, but depending on what it is. Like sometimes I'm just thinking I'll either read something or I'll see something and I'm like, and it's not erotic at all.
Right.
And I'm like, how can I make this erotic? And because I like the story or I like whatever little snippet. Like I'll even see a commercial and sometimes or a song I'll listen to and it just like clicks something and I'm like, all right, how can I make this like erotic? And it sometimes it doesn't even like when I go sit down to write, that's where the idea came from, but it doesn't have anything to do with that song later or that like it's that's where it came from. So most of the time I just sit down and write or just little things throughout the day. I think about how I can twist them into something else.
That seems way more logical than me just not knowing and sitting down and writing.
Well, I mean, it's just I
That seems way easier.
it is. I mean, I just try to it is because it's hard to come up with, you know, a new thing or a new and it's just like, you know. And it's kind of like how people do the like fairy tale retellings
Yeah.
and how they do like it's kind of that concept of just how can I like twist this and make it erotic. I
I
don't
like
know.
that. That's good advice.
Yeah. So that's how I do
I
it.
was at lunch with coworkers and this waiter kept hitting on a coworker. I'm like, I'm gonna turn this into a story. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this
Yeah.
into an erotica and I'm gonna use your name too. She's
Right.
like, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I have people who tell me like they're like you should do this. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should or, you know, or this is a good idea. And sometimes I think about it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. But then as I think, I'm like, okay, well maybe I can do that and twist it.
Twists and turns, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's that you're pulling from that real life inspiration is why yours come across as believable too.
Maybe. Maybe.
We should make an app that you pick your genre or your niche, whatever, and it will generate like a name and a sentence and like a plot. That way, it's like press a button. This is what we have today.
Yeah. Or
Here's your writing
on an app.
prompt.
Yep.
Write 4,000 words. Go.
Yeah. That would be great. That would be
right?
awesome. Yeah.
For
that would be
$5 a
awesome.
month, we'll do the thinking for you.
Right. Yeah. We would probably do amazing on that with like I mean, especially people who like authors who write as much as we do. Ideas are hard.
I wonder if someone's already made this. Like, I'd pay $5 a month for ideas to be given to me.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be a great deal. So you don't have to like think about it or like sit at the computer and just look at it and be like, okay.
Like, all right, and I've looked at this computer for an hour now. I've literally written one sentence. And, so sometimes, like, I have started writing the blurb before I've written anything else and that does not make me a plotter. It's still pantsing by the seat of my pants writing the blurb. But sometimes that helps me, like, get started. And it doesn't always match the blurb and I have to go back and, like, fix it. But I've started doing that, like, trying to think of, like, what 4 or 5 sentences can I write that would get me a full story, and then I go from there. And sometimes it works, sometimes it goes on its own tangent, and that's okay. But that's what I've been doing kind of lately on my frequented series.
Yeah. Now I know like when I took my course like on writing erotica, one of the things that he had said was that you should have like, and I don't do outlines, but I did it once and it actually kind of helped.
And you should do them?
I should. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying I don't. But where he had said that you need to like have your 3 sections and what you want to accomplish in each chapter. So you just write down like each chapter what you want to accomplish and then you just fill in. And it does.
So I actually did that for my Hotwife cruise, and it has hindered me. And I feel like, yeah, because I mean, chapter 1 I did, but chapter 2, I just like, I don't know. So I'm thinking about throwing out the plan and just
going
with whatever happens.
Yeah. If that works for
That's
you,
why
then
I'm
you
a
should do that.
pantser, because I cannot outline. I don't feel like being
Yeah.
an organized person makes me a plotter.
You're just a plotter in a different sense.
No, these are horrible words. Horrible words.
Yeah.
It's like you're cussing at me.
I don't plan either. Like, I don't do the plotting because it's just more than, like I said, I find
Right.
something my whatever and I just try to switch it. But I don't do that either because it's just, it feels like extra work for me
It is so much work.
to do that. And I see the benefits if you're writing this long, like drawn out thing, and it's I totally see the benefit in that. And I have done that. But for these, like,
Not these.
I do not see a benefit. It feels like extra work. I feel like after I've written the like plot, I could have wrote the story, or after I've done like, so it's not, it doesn't make sense to me unless, or if I'm doing it with somebody else, I may like do that just so we can communicate, but
Right.
not for like me just alone.
So let me ask you this question on your cuckold stories, because you haven't really done the hotwife. You've done the cuckold, right?
I've done Hotwife. I've not. I did like, yeah, because I had my bikers take a Hotwife. I've done a few, but not a lot. So,
Well, so either way,
and I did that different too.
of course you did, because that's what we do. So on those, what are your story links?
They're about 5,000 around that.
Do you feel like there's a little more plot with these?
Maybe a little, not much though. I mean, I still have like each chapter has some sort of sex like in it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit because I explain, like, I guess there is because you're explaining how they, like, how it's okay that they're doing what they're doing. So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess there's a little more like details with it.
Yeah, because like in mine, like my cheaters 3,000 to 4,000. My hot wives, I try to go 4 to 6,000. 5 being the average. And so I try to vary my links based on like, I guess, the attention span of that niche, I think. And I do strongly feel like the hot wives need a little bit more plot, just because I feel like there's so much meat that goes into that subject.
Yeah.
And there's not really a lot of meat that goes into cheating. Like, to me, it's like you have an urge, you follow the urge, you're done. Whereas like the hot wife, there's so many moving parts with it, with emotions and marriage and everything. I feel like and you have to have the reclaiming and all of these things. Like, I feel like you have to have more meat.
Do you think there's a reclaiming in every hot wife?
In real life, no.
Do you think, I mean, in erotica, is that a thing where everybody does that?
I was told by Master Sean there's a reclaiming. So
I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just asking.
Skylar's very OCD, and you tell me to do something, that's how I'm gonna do it. So I try to do it in all of them to some degree.
Yeah.
So, but I would have to think like that would be exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, there is a reclaiming in all of mine that I've done, but it's, I mean, in some way or another.
Right.
Because like the last one that I wrote with the bikers, the husband was still in control. Even though he wasn't there, he was still in control. And she knew like she was not, like, what her limits were because of what they have agreed to. So he was still in control. And she did something he didn't want her to do. And so there was a punishment and a claiming afterwards.
Sounds good.
But in other ones, there is some sort of always reclaiming in a sense. I guess there is. I never really thought about it, but I guess it just came natural to do that because I never really thought about it.
And I think to me, like, a reclaiming doesn't always have to be like physical, like intercourse penetration. You just have to think like for the woman, that would just be so tiring. And like your body would just be so worn out. Like, there's more to me, more intimacy and tenderness and love and care than fucking.
Yeah, no, I agree. There needs to, and there has been. It's not always sex, but there always has been something. So I guess that's, yeah.
You're doing it and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but yeah.
Well, it's probably because you study your your genres ahead of time, so you probably picked it up.
Yeah, I guess I just never really. I didn't have somebody set up the rules for me. Maybe I need to talk to Sean about rules. I think that would
But-
hold me back, though.
Well, don't change what's it's not broken. Don't fix it.
Yeah.
But see, I like coloring outside of the lines, but I like having the lines to keep me on a path, right?
Mhm.
And I the way my brain works, to be creative, I need that analytical help.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
I had to read other ones. It's not like I was just saying I'm just going to, because I see it on a screen, I'm going to write it and not know what the hell I'm writing. I mean, I did do some research, but yeah, I didn't really talk to somebody about it. Maybe I should
Sean's
have.
was the first one that I read, and I was kind of a little embarrassed because I read it on Medium, and like I was like, well, I didn't really know much at the time, and I was still pretty new. Like this was in like last July, no, 2 Julys ago, and I was still very new, right? And so like I had private messaged him and like asked him like some questions, and then he messaged me. And we started talking about the questions I asked, as opposed to like just leaving a public comment with my question, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe because of that's how I started, and like he pointed me towards like the things to read like that. It just made it very easy having like here's the high points, the low points you have to hit. How you get there, break away and do your own thing, but you have to hit these keys.
Yeah.
But
Good.
I love this topic. I love this writing this topic.
Yeah.
I really do, and
Yeah.
it's fun.
It is. It is definitely. So
Well, a lot of tangents today.
I do. I feel like we kind of like did a little.
Maybe we should plan our podcasts with more.
Plot them
plotting.
out instead of pantsing them. I don't know. I think
We
our
plot.
pantsed one. I think we plot a topic.
We plot a
That's what
topic.
we plot. So we don't plot anything else. We just say.
According to Logan, that would make us a plotter. With him and his horrible words.
Okay. Well.
But I like flying by our seats.
Yeah. I do too. I think some of those are when we don't really have a specific topic exactly, we do better.
I mean, I agree. So it's just like we're living a phone call with you.
There we go.
So there we go. So you want to wrap up, you think?
Yeah, I think we can.
I'm good.
All right. So again, our sponsor today is Sean Geist, and you can find him wherever you buy your ebooks, and on Blue Sky, he is there. And you also, and this is his book, Cuckold's Gift, is available in print or ebook.
And he's really great in the field.
He is,
so.
yeah.
All right, so don't forget to follow us online. You can follow all of our social media under Crush Pub or Crush Publications. And we will have our next episode in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Crushcast.
Be sure to follow us so you can catch our next episode in 2 weeks.
Thanks to our sponsor this week and to all of you for listening.
Peace, love, and crush on.